So, did you guys see my video yesterday? I made a video about a blog post that Treyarch made regarding the launch features for Black Ops 7, and I wasn't the only one who noticed some really strange and very specific wording that seemed to leave the back door open for them to actually remove the open matchmaking system in the future, as well as reintroduce the SBMM system that everybody has hated up to this point. You know what? I got some hate in the comments. Yes, I read every single comment on every single video. I do. That's true. And that's not AI going through and scanning. That's actual authentic Jimmy here. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. There were people telling me I'm a conspiracy theorist or that I was just rage baiting you guys and Treyarch wouldn't actually do that and that Black Ops 7 is going to be the best Call of Duty in years, so on and so forth. Well, I hate to be the one who tells you this, but yesterday Treyarch released another update just 3 days before the launch of the game. And they unfortunately seem to confirm most of the things that I was worried about in yesterday's video. So no, it was not a conspiracy. No, it was not rage bait. SBMM is 100% coming in Black Ops 7. Open matchmaking is not the standard matchmaking system, and we're going to go over all of this because I've got to be honest with you guys. I was kind of hoping yesterday that I would be wrong. I was really hoping that I was just reading too far into it. I was hoping that the video wouldn't age well, and that the game would come out and old school matchmaking and persistent lobbies, just like the old days, would be there. And unfortunately, my worst theories were actually correct. And this may have been one of the all-time giant long game bait and switches that we've had. So sit back and come with me here. A few hours after I posted my video yesterday, Treyarch released a big Twitter post that read, "Thanks to your beta feedback, the majority of Black Ops 7's MP playlist will have open matchmaking, which will be similar to the beta experience where skill is minimally considered. The exception will be one rotating mosh pit at launch where skill will be an important consideration, and ranked play will also use skill as an important consideration when it launches in Season 2. Now, this immediately sent the community into a pissed off frenzy because that was really strange wording to hear from the developers of a game that up until this point, we've been marketed and sold on. We were getting open matchmaking as the standard for the entire multiplayer experience, because after the beta, Treyarch seemed all in on the open matchmaking system in the old school lobby style, right? They leaned in hard. But now 3 days before the game comes out, they release a post that says, air quotes, the majority of the playlists will have open matchmaking. And they confirm that open matchmaking is going to be limited to certain playlists instead of being the standard system. So, a few hours after the post went up, Treyarch seemingly noticed how much controversy they had just caused, so they released a second post that read this way. Hey everyone, to clarify, just like in the Black Ops 7 beta, skill will be minimally considered in every open playlist. We've also added persistent lobbies and new playlists since the beta, including quick play. Here's what you'll see on day 1. Then they attach 2 screenshots of the multiplayer menu from Black Ops 7. Now, I'm going to throw those up on the screen right now so you can see. But basically, there's going to be 2 multiplayer menus. One for open matchmaking, one for standard matchmaking. Open matchmaking will be the classic matchmaking that we all wanted and were sold on and marketed on. Standard matchmaking will be the SBMM-infested craziness that the last few COD games have had. Come on! I mean, we were right. The ones that were on board with me and were pessimistic and we were cautious, we were right. There was no way that they were going to throw away SBMM at all. There was no way they were going to focus on open matchmaking and not disbanding lobbies, having persistent lobbies as our core experience moving forward. Now we have to make a choice. So I want to talk about this. I don't think a lot of you realize how bad this is. First of all, why is the standard matchmaking for Black Ops 7 going to have SBMM? And what are they getting at by calling the standard matchmaking system the one that nobody likes? Does that not make you concerned? Not only is open matchmaking not the default for this game, but the SBMM matchmaking is literally called the standard system in the game. That's not a good sign. Go look up the definition of standard. Second of all, having a separate menu for all the open matchmaking game modes is not a good way to keep that mode populated, because not only do you have to go out of your way to get to it, which means a lot of casual players are not going to be using it because they're just going to jump into the standard matchmaking because only 2% of the people watch YouTube videos or in this community. The rest of them, the 98%, are casuals that don't watch any videos on X or YouTube, and they're not following any of this. They just buy the game and they play the game. And Activision knows that. I mean, it also makes it really easy for Treyarch to just delete that menu or delete those playlists later in the game's lifecycle and only have the standard matchmaking as an option. Now, frankly, I think that's what's going to happen in a few months. I said this before. The player counts for Black Ops 7 are going to go down, just like every COD game's player counts do. And then Treyarch is going to release a statement about how they need to keep the community together. They need to improve the matchmaking queue times. And they're just going to delete open matchmaking and force everyone into the standard matchmaking, which has SBMM. Bookmark this video, friends. Come back next year because I guarantee you that's what they're going to do. And it pisses me off because they're splitting the player base, but they're making it sound like, oh, we're giving you the classic Call of Duty, no SBMM. And I see a lot of the big creators out there being like, old school Call of Duty's back. And that used to be me. But they're wrong. They're splitting the player base, and there's going to come a point where you can't populate these lists, and that's when they bring it all together. Third main thing that worries me about the bait and switch is the fact that it proves Treyarch or Activision is married to the idea of using SBMM in Call of Duty, which really does not make me confident for the future of the series at all. I mean, Black Ops 7, it was supposed to be the game that gets everything on track. So if Black Ops 7 really did remove SBMM and disbanding lobbies, and then it did really well, guess what? Activision would be forced to look at that and keep those changes in the future of the series. But what about now? What happens if the community is pissed off about the bait and switch so Black Ops 7 underperforms? Well, then Activision is going to look at it and say, well, you know what? Open matchmaking didn't work. We better go back to disbanding lobbies and SBMM so we can keep the money coming in off of little Timmy. And you know that's what's going to happen here. And I say it again, it pisses me off because it can't just be transparent and upfront and just give it a chance. Hey, Black Ops 7 will have 0 SBMM. It will be old school. We will have open matchmaking. It will be off of your connection based, and we will not disband lobbies. There is no fine print. There is no looking on page 689 of this docket to see that we're actually layering SBMM. Just be transparent and do it. They can't do that. They can't do that. They won't do that. And they didn't do that. And this is case in point what I'm showing you guys right now. I mean, fellow COD YouTuber Nero Cinema, he made a really good tweet about the situation if you ask me. He responded to the second Treyarch post and said, still no word on why you're insisting on an SBMM mode. The wording suggests more will come. And whether or not OpenMM will remain default all year, you've seen the feedback. Why are you not addressing it? I think that's a great way to put it. Treyarch is doing a really weird thing where they're addressing some of the community's feedback, but not all of it, and the things they're choosing to ignore are really making it seem like they have secret plans for later in the year, and it makes them look not transparent because guess what? They're not being transparent. They're not. And I go back to, I always say this, they're a publicly traded company. Activision's huge. Shareholders, they answer to the shareholders. They do not answer to me. They do not answer to you. And they answer to little Timmy as long as little Timmy's the casual that will buy the skins and go into those SBMM lobbies because that's what keeps the money train rolling. Honestly, it feels like sabotage. Activision obviously doesn't want open matchmaking in the game anymore because if they did want it, they would have done it years ago or they would have leaned in and done it 100% this year. They've been married to the SBMM system and disbanding lobbies. It's made them so much money off of little Timmy and they're definitely not excited about getting rid of that system. So, what was the purpose? Why? What if Treyarch was told they could do open matchmaking, but then after the beta, Activision swooped in and forced them to put the SBMM somewhere in the game? Basically, also the game would be sabotaged and the community would get pissed off and then Activision could take that fan backlash to their shareholders, flip it around and say, look, we tried open matchmaking. It didn't work. We're going to go back to the normal model, the strict SBMM. And you could say, Jimmy, now you're being a conspiracy theorist again. But did you watch yesterday's video? If you didn't, you don't get to comment. Go back, watch yesterday's video, come back, and then give me your comment, and I'll take it openly and constructively. I will. People said I was a conspiracy theorist yesterday. Guess what? I was right about absolutely everything in that video. And that's why we're here today. So I'm going to leave you with this. I'm not going to draw this video out, to be honest with you, because I'm actually really pissed off about this. And I know it's a video game and it's not the end of the world, but it's a video game that's tied directly to me and dear to my heart. It's been part of my life for the last 15 freaking years. Just get it right. Give it a chance. But they're not going to. It's out of our hands. That's the truth. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll be reading the comments, as always. See you tomorrow for a ranking or playlist, something that doesn't piss me off.